episode 21 of the podcast, Elizabeth.
Technically, our podcast is of drinking age.
That is just unacceptable,
Well, in
inappropriate.
America. Technically, in Europe, I think they can drink at 18.
We have a lot of UK listeners,
We do.
so I don't know, how young this you guys can drink, but our podcast can drink now.
Woo, woo.
This is a Christian podcast, Liz. We gotta keep it holy.
You're right.
Hey, welcome to Thanksgiving season, guys. It's Christmas trees are up in houses all over the place, but for some of us, it is still the Thanksgiving season. And I say that as I put our office's tree up and I listened to Christmas music for the past 2 days.
You put the tree up today in the office?
Yesterday.
Really?
Oh yeah.
You didn't
Oh,
tell
for
me that.
sure, yeah.
Disclaimer, I love Christmas, but I hate decorating for Christmas.
It's the worst.
I see the appeal of paying someone to decorate your house.
I've never done that.
I would never. I'm too cheap, but I see the appeal.
Dang. We've talked about it before, though.
Yes, but I always cheap out. I'm like, I'll put up the tree.
Kind of like moving. The next time we move, we'll pay people to, move our stuff.
We say that, but I think we're going to get the pod, like the little pod moving thing. That's
No
good
way.
enough.
Mm-mm. So in the spirit of Thanksgiving and the season of being grateful for all of the things and the opportunities and the people that are in your life, we thought we would do a mini series this month. For the rest of this month. Hope you guys enjoyed that last episode that we posted, that message that I got to share from our North Charleston campus last week.
A lot of people stopped me and said how good you did.
Well, I appreciate that.
They said that they've listened to last week's message and you crushed.
That means a lot. It was a message that was adapted from a message that our lead pastor wrote, and he is insanely gifted. And man, just it's so easy to take the bones of what he wrote and got inspired from the Lord and just deliver something, and kind of continue on to that. So, in honor of that whole thing, we're starting this little mini series. So the next couple weeks, as we lead up to Thanksgiving next week, which is wild. We're going to do a couple episodes talking about gratitude, but as we were talking about the other day, we wanted to spin this a little bit. So oftentimes, I'm big on gratitude lists, and I like to start my day by writing 3 things that I'm grateful for. I don't always do that, but it's always something that I try to do. Sometimes it's only one thing, and sometimes those things are like coffee.
Right.
Or like the sun coming through the window right now. They're so small, but I always try to incorporate gratitude in my life. But instead of coming at it from that angle, we're going to try our best to kind of share a little bit of things that are on the surface that can seem inconvenient in our lives, but that God has orchestrated maybe some kind of gratitude that we've been able to see the silver lining in it, right? So maybe it started off as something that was, really unpleasant to walk through, but in the midst of walking through it, the Lord kind of refocused our heart through it and kind of showed us something that we could be grateful for in that whole season. And so we're going to open up about a couple of those and share a little bit about that. And it's going to be a good time. But before we start that, why don't we share about our weeks? How about that? I did it this week. Let's go.
Let's go. So last weekend, my students and we catered our church's Kingdom Builders Gala.
It was amazing.
And it was really nice being able to show off my students and their skills. And so, of course, like my ego got a little inflated as well because other people went up to me and was like, I felt like I was watching MasterChef as they kept on saying, yes, chef, to you as you delegated what they did.
That.
And I was like, you do this, you do that, blah, blah, blah. Plate this.
Right?
And they're like, yes, chef.
They had their chef coats on while they were walking with the trays in the foyer and stuff.
We pulled up all the stops. And of course, I only chose my best students.
Yeah. So tell us a little bit about what you guys made. Tantalize our taste buds, Liz.
Okay, well, because it was such a mass quantity of food, it's just one of those things you can eat. When we had a lot of quantity, quality, you know what I mean, had to go down a little bit, but not really like quality per se.
Maybe to your
standards. We had to, compromise because chicken and waffles. My students was not about to slave over a waffle maker. That's just silly.
Right.
So we got like the frozen pre-made waffles and cut them into 4s. so they
Put
did
them
not
on
have to make it.
toothpicks.
Yeah, we put them on toothpicks, and then you can kind of get those like big frozen bags of chicken nuggets, like kind of like Chick-fil-A nuggets,
Right.
and we used those and we skewered them. But
So
then we made
cool.
the sauce to go on top.
A
So
bechamel
whenever we
sauce?
kind of
Just
whenever
kidding.
we, you know, toasted them up and we drizzled the homemade sauce, like people thought it was the best thing since sliced bread.
Because it was.
Yeah, and then like for example, when we did the roast mashed potato cups, we're not gonna peel 1,000 potatoes.
You're giving away all the
It
trade
was
secrets,
instant.
Liz.
We just used a really high quality instant mashed potato.
Okay, so
So-
tell us like what you made, not the
Oh,
cheap
sorry.
things that you had.
I was giving you my tricks of the trade.
insider stuff. Save it for a bonus episode.
We had
Liz.
quiches, mini
Okay.
quiches. We
Okay.
had
Roast and mashed potatoes.
roast
That was
and
cute
well,
in
there
little
was
cups.
steak.
Oh my gosh.
We had we did fruit kebabs. Instead of doing like charcuterie, we kind of did the whole meat cheese on a stick with like some
Yeah.
olives or some tortellini. For dessert, we had chocolate fountains, cupcakes. What else did we have? Banana pudding shots.
Yep.
Yeah, it was a good time.
Gosh, it was so cool.
Yeah, it was great. I don't think I took pictures of the food or the setup, but hopefully someone at the church did.
Hopefully, yeah.
If not, let's fire them.
I gotta get those jokers to give me any photos. We took some really bomb photos. So as people walked in, we called it a gala, right? And everybody got dressed up, semi-formal, and we had this red carpet that we rolled out and these red stanchion poles. And as people walked in, we had like 3 photographers with flashes on their cameras, just going nuts as people walked in, just taking flash photos.
It was so funny because some people ate it up.
Yeah.
Left no crumbs. And then the other people, they just felt so awkward.
Quickly hurried to the other side.
Yeah, they
to
hated
hide.
some people like lived their moment, and some people just wanted to get out of there as quickly
I
as
saw some
possible.
people leave and then come back in to get another photo. Yeah, it's insane.
Oh wow! I thought it was like leave and then come back whenever there was no one there. I was like,
Oh,
wow.
no way. That'd be crazy, though. That would be so funny. Gosh. I think I would be one that would not know how to react, so I would be really awkward.
Versus me, I would just be striking pose somehow in a gown, do a cartwheel because I'm that dumb. Rip my dress, cause a scene.
That's cool. It was it was a busy week for you. Busy week for me too. Busy couple of weeks. Feels like we haven't done a live podcast in forever.
Yeah, because last week we did your message, and the
Yeah.
week before it was just so crazy.
did not do it.
But
Yeah.
it's fall, it's church season.
Man.
It was my wedding season too.
Yeah, a lot of cakes. A lot of cakes. So for me, the past week we wrapped up Kingdom Builders season at our church, which is our big missions focus,
Launch,
basically.
yeah.
So we're raising pledges for missionaries. Our church supports like over 130 missionaries around the globe. And so once a year we do this great big missions series, and that's got a ton of stuff. I always joke with people, which is not really a joke, that we prioritize Kingdom Builder season more than the Christmas season, because now I'm just starting to get into Christmas stuff, and I'm already almost done. Like, it's so easy compared to all of the extra elements we had for Kingdom Builder. So that consumed my life for the past week or two. Not the past week or two,
And
the
we
past
talked
month
about
or
how
two.
we felt, especially with us, because I was so busy with my cakes and wedding season, and you were so busy with the church. But we squeezed in like intentional date nights.
We did.
We tried.
Yeah, it was good. But yeah, did that. Work is kind of slowed down for me, which is cool. I applied to a second job, Liz.
Do you want to tell the people why you had to apply for a second job?
I
And
guess we
also,
can.
I start my second job next week.
Guys,
The loan sharks came after us. It's time to pay the piper.
Yeah, okay, really. Maybe this is just going to be like a recap of our past couple of weeks episode. So,
Well, and we can do like a little snippet of the
Yeah.
gratitude and then go
True.
deeper into it next week.
yeah, I like that.
Of
So,
redemption.
past little bit, we have forever, for a decade, you, Liz, have had the dream in your heart to either own a bakery, run your own bakery, or have a wedding venue. Because here in Charleston, there are so many beautiful wedding venues where people just get some land, they build these buildings, and they host events, and it's amazing.
And there's not that good ones either.
there are good,
But they're
and they're
so
not so
dang
good ones, right?
popular.
Yep.
But especially whenever you did your DJing back in the day a lot, and we like had our event services where you did DJs and I did cakes,
Mm-hmm.
and I even helped plan some weddings. We've been to dozens,
Yeah.
dozens on dozens of different wedding venues.
So we've seen a lot of them.
I've seen so many of them.
And somewhere along the line, that passion sparked and like grew in your heart. And so for, I would say, over a
It's
decade.
been kind of like a pipe dream too. Like it would be nice one day.
Yeah, but that's probably never going to happen.
Correct.
And so that has been festering in your heart and growing in your heart for about a decade now. And so you are compulsively on Zillow and realtorwhatever.com, and you're always looking for all this land. So long story short, we found 3 acres of lakefront property in the upstate of South Carolina, and the price was right.
Well, I mean, we still have to sell a piece of our soul.
Oh, for sure. Oh, yeah. No, sorry. Like
It
we're
wasn't
not
like
yeah.
a steal of a deal.
But you looked at so many different things of land.
I've looked at enough land to know it was a fair price.
Yeah.
For 3 acres of lakefront property.
Yeah. So we found that, and it's about 3 hours away or so from where we live now. And so we drove up there. Actually, I think we put like an offer on it.
Offer
And-
sight unseen.
Yep. And so put the offer in. The offer gets accepted. And so we're like, oh, junk, we should probably go look at this before we commit this much money to it. So we drove up there. One weekend we had free, which we did not have free, but we just made time for it and saw it. And it was absolutely
Well, I mean, magically I didn't have any
beautiful.
cakes, so I canceled like some
Right?
plans with the friends.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was beautiful.
It's the fall here. So, man, it's just trees are dropping leaves, colors.
It has like a little cove too, so it feels private as well for a wedding venue.
Yeah.
We have to deal with some zoning issues because it's residential. So I've been just reading all the stuff, but it just
As usual for you.
as per use. And this will kind of go into. I'll explain this a little bit, and then we can go into what we are thankful for, even though we didn't realize we were thankful for it.
Ooh.
It kind of ties in, but I prayed. Like I obviously I did not feel the Lord steer us to the upstate. No desire to move upstate whatsoever. I really like my house right now, but I saw the land and I was like, oh, this could work. And I prayed. I was like, God, I'm a dumb sheep. I am a dumb sheep.
You're pretty smart.
I'm a dumb sheep. And this is a very shiny thing I want. And so I was like, God, it's like, I am going to move forward. I need you to intervene because I'm a dumb sheep. So it's like, there's 3 ways this could happen.
Okay.
You know how like when we tell God, like, okay, God, this is how you can move in this, like this.
Here's the
right?
parameters you can operate.
Right.
Lord
But I was
Jesus.
like, God, there's like so many, there's so many ways. Number 1, we don't even get approved for the loan because our debt to income ratio is going to be stupid. I'm
Yeah.
so sorry, Dave Ramsey. Like, you can kick me out your fan club. I'm so sorry. But I was like, we probably won't even get approved for the loan. It's so much debt. I was like, so that's number 1. Number 2, we offered a little bit lower. I was like, God, I was like, don't let them offer it. Don't let them accept it. And then I was also praying. I was like, God, please, if this is going to blow up in my face, just let someone buy it now. Let someone buy it now
Right.
before I even put in
like
the
a
offer.
Band-Aid, rip it off quick.
Yeah. I was like, just let, and because that's happened. I did find land in Ridgeville, and I contacted the realtor, and then I was about to go get pre-approved for the land loan, and it sold.
Dang.
And they just didn't update the listing. So I mean, it's happened before. People
Right.
have bought land from up under me, but everything is working out. I mean, we are going to be in so much debt, hence our second jobs. But we
close in a week and a half.
Yep.
So pretty wild. So that is why I applied for my second job this past weekend. So that's another exciting thing that I did.
Yes. It's great.
Yeah.
But here's the thing. We're tenacious enough. The payments are affordable, but I just don't want to be buried in interest rates.
No.
Like we can afford it. We just, stop contributing to retirement because this is going to be our retirement. And stop putting money towards vacation because no way, Jose. So
Yeah.
we can pay our bills, but I don't want to drown in interest.
Yeah. So exciting stuff happening in our life,
Yes.
but busy stuff. So in the midst of all the crazy work stuff, we are closing on 3 acres of lakefront property that I'm going to kayak on every single morning before work. And that's going to be my little devotional time with the Lord. So
Right.
I am muy excited about that. That's going to be
So-
super sick.
But also the people we tell the land is completely undeveloped. It's not even perked. And I know what it means perked, so don't be coming at me with the comments, guys. I understand the risk we took with it not being perked, but there's houses on each side, so I think we're fine. And I prayed, so it has to work out, right? Right?
Silence.
But so realistically, it's going to be 3 to 5 years before we even move. And it could be in 3 years, the Lord be like, nope, this is not time. And I will give my land as an offering and sell it for a nice profit.
It feels weird though, because it's almost like we're telling people that to make them feel better, like we're not leaving immediately. And I don't like if I am leaving immediately, that's fine. Like that's on me. I'm not trying to sugarcoat it for you. So I'm not. You see what I'm saying?
Right, but
It feels
also
weird.
no. I mean, I tell myself that because what if I can't get the zonings and the permits to
Right.
do what I want to do?
Then we don't do it.
Exactly, and I perk it, clear it, make a profit.
Right. Yeah.
But I say all that to go into a little bit of the meat of our episode. So I hope you guys enjoyed that recap, or you might have just skipped to the meat of the episode. I don't know. One of the things I am grateful for that has been a bummer that I've been walking through is we are still not pregnant. And everyone around me is getting pregnant. And so now that it's been almost a year, it stings. It does.
Yeah.
Makes me upset.
Somebody just asked you 2 days ago if you could make their.
Gender reveal cake. And I was like, "You're pregnant?" I'm like, "Yeah." I was like, and it's
That's
such a because I'm truly
great.
excited. You know what I mean? And
It's both.
yeah, it really is. And I know the Lord is sovereign. Like, don't come with me with all these Christian reference of
No
His
one's
timing
coming for
is
you.
perfect. I know, but people do it, and I'm over defensive. But if we were pregnant with child, there's no way I would have drained our savings to pursue this dream
It's true.
because my dream would have shifted to motherhood. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So we will see.
So do you feel like that is an area that, like we were talking about, that's a thing that was difficult to walk through, but you've learned gratitude through that experience?
Yeah, I mean, I am grateful because if this is a dream I'm going to be blessed with, like with this wedding venue, there's no way I would have, pursued it with a child. Because what we do, we give 110%. We like
Yeah.
to say that because we're Clydes.
Yeah.
And I would have, the day I find out I'm pregnant, I will have that nursery set up and ready to go. That's just how I am.
When we decided to finally get on the same page and both want I say that because I'm terrified of having more than one. We started prepping the nursery.
We did. And I mean, I've done everything. I can say confidently, you and I, we have done everything in our power to get pregnant. Like ovulation tests, timing,
Yeah.
like temperature, like I know, like so something could be, they say once you kind of hit a year, you're labeled as infertile, whether it's you or I.
Sheesh.
I know, because I've done all this research.
You're also geriatric if you are over, what,
Yeah.
30, 31?
So, yeah, and I think it's like 35, but, I'm past 30. And, I mean, it's stressful. Not, I know it's all in the Lord's hands and whatnot. But, I mean, it stings because there's been very, very, very few things that I haven't been able to accomplish if I tried. Does that make sense? Because if I want to do, like, I'm a hard worker.
That is the exact season I'm in right now.
And this is something we have tried a lot. Sorry if that's TMI listeners. But, yeah, so it's literally all in the Lord's hands. So that's just one of those, situations where I'm like, because now, I mean, we're about to close on the land. We're out of the negotiation period. So, like, we close in.
It's final. It's final.
So, I mean, if I found out I'm pregnant, like, next week, it's like third job.
Okay.
Let's go.
Donating plasma again.
You were so mad when I did that.
Gosh, for me, I hate admitting that I want something, because if I admit that I want something in front of people, and I don't get it or I
Oh,
don't accomplish it,
I feel like it makes you look like you have egg on your face.
as an Enneagram 3, I am a failure, like to the core. That is like the end of my usefulness. Like I hate that. So yeah, that's a difficult place to be for sure.
So
It's cool to see you walk through that though, because it's not like
is it cool?
it is. It's encouraging to me because you don't walk through it. I get to see behind the curtain, which nobody else gets to see that. But I get to see the texts that come in that say, "Hey, so we're pregnant, and are you busy? Can you do our gender reveal cake?" And I get to see you on one face. You experience both bitterness and also really genuine, rejoicing with your friends.
Yeah, I wouldn't say bitterness. It's just sad.
Yeah.
Because bitter sounds like I'm spiteful, and I'm not.
Yeah, that's true. That's a good point. But yeah, it's been interesting to watch you walk through it for sure, because it's a dance of both.
And it's so weird because we spent the first 9 years of our marriage, like not even like, nah, we good.
But then I'd be like, so you sure you don't want? And then I'd be like, no way. And then I would be like, are you sure you don't want? And you'd be like, no way. We would flip flop every single time we talked about it.
Yeah, and so until
every time.
And I had a rule. I'm like, until you and I, for 6 months, we both consistently wanted a kid, I would not get off of birth control, because that was just my thing. I was like, all right, because kids be cute, and then till they not.
So you have to pay for them and take care of them 24/7.
So we'll see.
Wild.
Oh yeah, and now it's like, all right, for future kid, your daycare money I was putting aside is now going to land payments as well.
Thank you so much.
So
appreciate you.
Yeah. So
yeah,
I mean, like,
nice.
So I mean, granted, we're not doing ovulation tests anymore. It was just so exhausting trying to track it and, like, I guess perform.
I think a lot of people do that though. They go hard into I'm going to track all this stuff and I'm going to do was it Ramsey thermometer? Ramsey whatever?
It was the,
what's it called?
It was like BBT, I don't know. Basal.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I just call it like the thermometer.
But then I feel like a lot of people, if that doesn't happen immediately, which for some people it does, they can track it and immediately they get, pregnant.
But it's the fact that freaking Facebook, before, like, after 4 months of trying, like, I was even like, concerned. They started like sending me IVF freaking ads.
Yeah, that was crazy.
And I was like, all right.
That wasn't even
in my mind yet.
But now it is.
Yeah, and so that's when, like, one day, I think it was just recently, I found out about, I was curious, like, well, what's considered infertile? And that's if you've been trying for over a year and we're about to hit our 1 year mark. So I'm like, oh, okay. Rebuke that, I guess.
Let me get you a cake.
For 1 year of trying?
Yep.
I mean, you're happy, so I guess that's fine.
But, there was a time when I wasn't happy, Liz. 2020.
Ooh, tell me about that.
So I think it's a horrible segue.
Yeah, I mean, sure, why not?
That was terrible. But I think my moment where I walked through something really difficult, but I kind of chose to find the silver lining, and I think a lot of people can testify to this, but 2020, I'm going to talk about COVID. But specifically, during that season, I was the associate pastor at one of our campuses and loving it, having the time of my life, loving on people. And then boom, one Sunday was our last Sunday of having in-person services. And for the next 3 months, we were having 0 in-person services at any location. And that was insane. Because we are known as the church that does not shut down for hurricanes, natural disasters. Like, we are the beacon of hope for our community.
Someone literally texted us saying, faith shut down. I know this is Armageddon.
It's big deal. Yeah. So, when that happened, our church was forced, and I don't know if I've mentioned this or not on the podcast, but our church was forced to furlough 50% of our staff.
It was very upsetting.
So in 8 different cities, 50% of people that were, depending on receiving a paycheck from our church just did not have that.
Unemployment was so backed up. It took people so long. Like our good friends waiting on unemployment.
Insane. And I know people that were in the military that never got anything throughout the entire time. And it was just like, my gosh, how did you survive? So that whole thing happened. And in that difficult season, I'm seeing a lot of my friends who have to go through this. And it was really, really crappy to watch the whole thing play out. And so I'm grieving with them. But thank God, like one of the biggest blessings in that season was I had a very specific skill set in digital media creation, content creation or whatever. And so I was able to not be furloughed, but I was shifted and plunged into the world of making online church happen. And so I was helping run social medias. I was helping to take photos. I was helping to essentially produce our church at home messages. And that was an incredible, just a really, really different time. But through that whole thing, it kind of gave me a proving ground to operate and kind of stretch my legs in that whole scene. And a little bit after that, was it 2022 or 2020? It had to be 2022 around before Easter, where I was actually able to step into the creative pastor role, which, bless the name of Jehovah Jireh that I did not have to have that role during all of this, because my predecessor was he was a machine to be able to lead the charge in helping to translate our entire in-person gatherings to online exclusively. But through that process of getting my feet wet with all this stuff, it kind of gave me a proving ground, and it helped me develop new skills and new strengths for the season I'm in right now. And that was really, really cool, because you guys know I always talk about it all the time. I'm so big on growing. Matter of fact, I spent a lot of time today, much to Elizabeth's delight, because she's been on to me for not doing this. But I spent a lot of time today working on a project management certification through Google that I've been working on for a little bit. Do I need it? Absolutely not. Is it going to help what I'm doing? A little bit. Is it required? No way. But I'm so big on that Kaizen mindset, or that constant development mindset, that I'm always trying to grow. And that was a season where it was very difficult, but God gave me a really cool opportunity to grow in skills, and then eventually, opened up the door to what I'm doing today.
Yeah.
So that was huge.
It's good. I mean, yeah, that's great stuff. Just being able to see the good in a overall very stressful, bad situation.
It's a very difficult season.
We were so thankful that we had our jobs. Like our finances changed. Really, we just started working from home. Well, not you, but me.
I worked from home
a little bit until
sometimes
people started taking advantage of it, and then Pastor called everyone back.
Which is bizarre, because I'm like, you can't do that.
He's like, you're essential.
I don't think we're counting in that.
That's so funny. But I loved when you brought up this idea of, well, what do we talk about what we're thankful for, but out of things that was trying for us, because just recently in my last therapy session, and you didn't even know this, she had my homework was I had to write a letter to God, almost like a prayer, if you will. And I pretty much, it was like an angry letter of, I told him how upset I was at him, and I told him how mad I was and how unfair I felt the hand that he dealt me with my whole family situation. And so I just
laid it out there.
Let it out. I'm angry. And so then part 2, which I have to do before we meet, is with every kind of sentence, I have to go and dissect it, and I have to find God in every kind of disheartening moment.
Wow.
So God, I was really angry that you allowed this to happen, but I see you, and then find God in those moments.
Have you done that exercise yet?
I have not. Well, thankfully, just kind of working through it. It's been since, I've had a while to process, but it takes a while to process what you processed. So I've kind of, I do it in my head all the time. I just haven't written it down yet. So I have been thinking about it, and I mean, you see God, but
Has it gotten any easier in your head?
A little bit. It's gotten less traumatic, I guess, in my head. I'm not as triggered so much with
Yeah.
certain scenarios, and like, and I feel like we could probably talk about it on the podcast. Like, I feel like I'm getting ready for that. It's just I don't want to be a Debbie Downer. I don't want. I mean, obviously not this episode, but so I mean, we'll have to think about creativity, and like very truth, how we want to unwrap my testimony, because I never want to. You always say I like to do those shocking statements, and I'm like, they're just statements to me. This is my life. They're
Yeah.
just shocking.
No. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
we'll figure it out when the timing's right. But I am processing well.
Good.
Yeah,
I like it.
that's all she wrote on that.
That's all she wrote.
So maybe that could be maybe your homework or your challenge from us is maybe people go through some stuff.
It's true.
Like, and maybe you felt like you've had an unfair hand dealt. Write it down and see where you can find God in your circumstances.
Yeah. Maybe put a
In
number
your
on
valleys.
it. Maybe think of like 2 or 3 things this week that you can look back on, moments that you've had, 2 or 3 moments that you've had that, were difficult or challenging, and then see where God was in that whole entire thing. Mm-hmm. So cool.
I like it. Good stuff. It's good to be back.
Gosh.
I've missed
It's been so stinking long.
It has been.
Man. But we're back.
We back, baby.
Yeah, I'm excited. So don't miss next week. We're going to do the same mini series.
I know I actually had 2 today, but we just didn't have time to get to. And the one I have to share next week, it shapes my whole life.
Juicy.
I mean, it's just, this is like the foundation of who I am.
Ooh. Wow.
If it wasn't for this awful moment.
Man.
And it's not even like the tragedy I always like refer to. This happened when I was in middle school.
All right, you guys heard that. Don't miss next week's episode. That's going to drop next Friday. We'll be 30 pounds heavier because of the ham and turkey we are going to digest. It's
and
be
we'll
delicious.
be in New York.
Yeah, we're going to celebrate that. That's going to be fun. So until next time.
My Filipino family also doesn't eat turkey. I don't know if that's the time to tell you. We are ham people. This is Taylor's first Thanksgiving.
I love ham.
I just didn't want you to be disappointed or be a liar because you're not going to be filled with turkey next week.
No, yeah. So Granny Clyde used to always make ham, and I liked it.
Yeah, but Granny Evelyn doesn't cook. We order lumpia and ham and all that stuff.
She's so lazy.
She's 87, Taylor. I think she's 88 now.
Step it up, Grandma. Come on.
She did. She's living to 88. Dang it.
Well, don't miss next week's episode. It's going to be good. We're going to continue talking about more things that we walked through that were difficult, but that we see the hand of God in, and it's going to be a great time. Don't forget your homework, everybody. Find those 2 or 3 things that are difficult for you, that were difficult for you in your life, but that you see God moving in, that you saw God moving in, and it's going to be a great time. Hey, be sure, as always, to follow us and send us a DM at Taylor Clyde, at Elizabeth P. Clyde, with ideas for future episodes, or questions, or conversations that you would like us to have in dialogue about. Be sure to share this episode with somebody who needs to hear it, because somebody would benefit from this, probably.
Maybe.
The last half more so than the first half, where we just talked about buying land and going into massive amounts of debt.
And our second jobs.
Yeah, it's going to be a great time. But
so good.
Thanks, guys, as always, for listening. And until next time, we will see you on the flip side.
Bye-bye.